We'll now look at the two types of graphical displays for categorical data. The first is a bar graph. Bar graphs look very similar to histograms. They've got a horizontal axis and they've got a vertical axis, and the vertical axis generally has frequency. In this case, it's percent. But what's different between histograms and bar graphs? For bar graphs, again, it's for categorical data. So the horizontal axis has categorical data on it. And so in this case, this is color of cars, and they're comparing two populations, the US and Europe. So for each of these pairs, the left is the bar for percent of the color in US, and the right bar in each pair is the percent of the color in Europe. So for example, for the white or pearl color, there's about 20% of the cars in the US are white, but only about 4% of the cars in Europe are white. And it has for each of these items. So you could have a bar graph for just one population, but in this case it's for two. And so for this case, also you have these two bars touching because this is US and Europe for the same category. US, Europe, same category all the way across. But you'll notice that there's a space between every pair. And the reason for that is that the order of this is not important, and someone just picked that order. That you could have done silver and then red and then beige, and so you wouldn't be able to tell the shape based on this. And so all they really did was they said, okay, we're going to take in descending order the percent in the US. And so this is the percent of the order in the US, but it's certainly not that in Europe. So there, each of the bars is separated. If you'll remember from our histogram, each of the bars touched unless there was a gap in that class. So again, all of our same things. We've got consistent spacing, horizontally and vertically. Here's a little key here. The percentages kind of go in and they're labeled. So this should say color, but label the axis. So again, not a lot of excitement with this, but it kind of lets us compare, and we can see, oh, there's a whole lot higher percentage of white cars in the US and Europe, but you can also see here that there's a lot higher percentage of silver cars in Europe than in the US, and black cars in Europe than in the US. Okay, that's our first kind, and then the second kind, it's old favorite, maybe the first kind of graph that you ever made. So for our pie chart, this is just percentage distribution of Hispanics by type from the 2010 census. So the overwhelming majority here are from Mexico, and then you have from different sources here. So again, this tells you relative frequency. You can tell that, I don't know, about 2/3 are from Mexico, but we don't know how many people are from each area. We can only tell the percent, the relative frequency. Sometimes they'll put the number, or sometimes they'll put the percent in the graph and label it such, but not always. So that's it. Those are the two categorical displays of data.